Shoot, I forgot to share my screen. Oh, let me get this set up real quick. Boom. Back there. All right. What's up, everybody? I am having a damn fine day, Fat Man Zoom.
What's up?
Let me let's make this official. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and we made it our mission to help you guys own it. And it has been a fantastic day for me, even though the overall markets aren't doing so hot. But we got a lot of things on the docket today. Obviously, you saw the title. Chamath Palihapitiya is going to be doing an interview on CNBC at 4:30. So that's going to be something that we are certainly excited to react to. But Fat Man Zoom, how about we hit him off with the stud and fat?
Yeah, starting five, we have John Gossin, Sean Ethier, Baka Toon, and Arnie Vanaker. Bake Tuoni. 2-1.
Listen, I've butchered that name. I don't know how many times. I said Twoon.
Baka 2-1.
2-1. Is it 2-1?
Yeah. 2-1.
I've been saying Twoon this whole time.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Looks like a lot of people are doing well. Took some profits on Ford calls, says Rudy Brown.
There we go.
Yeah, good day. The Chaos Crew stocks definitely did very well. Most of them, I know your account crushed it.
Yeah,
I had a very good day as well. Man, it was kind of interesting how it played out because a lot of the things you asked last night what I was checking out ended up doing well. Yeah. Specifically for me, I mean, Tesla was a monster. We'll get into that in a little bit. But we've got some interesting topics. As Brad mentioned, Chamath is going to be speaking at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So normally for these live streams, we end like 15 minutes after the market closes. We're going to stay through when Chamath talks. So we should be here till around 5 p.m. So buckle up, because it's going to be a ride. But before we visit Chamath, what we expect, what we're looking for in this conversation, what else are we talking about? We're going to be talking about the stocks have been moving. You've had some some options plays. We're going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about oil stocks. We have some really good stocks to talk about, and we may talk about a stock that's at 52-week lows that could be ready for a move. So a lot to go over. Talk about how you did today in the account.
Yeah, man. My account in general is up 10% on the day. Just phenomenal day. Not just so you guys saw last night, Ford was on the list of stocks to watch this week because I thought that we could be seeing a really nice move over that 50-day moving average. And sure enough, it did. Ford is pulling out back a little bit towards the end of the day here. It's early. We still have another 30 minutes to go before the market closes, but nevertheless, it's had a monster day by Ford standards, mind you, but it was up as much as around 4% at one point today and still looking really good above 14. So I have 14 strike calls, and then I also have 15 strike calls. They both expire around the same time, and I have a stop on the 14 strike, and it looks like it might get tripped if the trend continues here. I'll go ahead and share my screen. But I'm just going to hang on to the 15 strike and see how that goes. I think this is going to be something that might continue. I mean, we look at the daily chart, Fat Man Zoom, and this thing has really kind of shown how the 50-day moving average has come into play, and people are taking notice on Ford.
Yeah, we have some other people in here as well that have been in it. Should continue to do well. We'll see how it plays out in the future. But a lot of EV exposure stocks, and I think it's safe to say Ford is now an EV exposure stock.
Yeah,
because what they're doing seem to be doing well. I'm not really sure exactly what it's all about. However, I'm not going to complain when it's nice moves like that.
Right. The other thing that has done really well for me in particular was OIH. Anybody who had exposure to oil or the energy sector today has done well. OIH is up 6%. So I'm super happy about the way this has been moving up. And reason to believe this probably continues to roll into the end of the year. I know that you have Marathon and some exposure to some other stuff. Marathon has also had a really good day. It's up 6.5%, really through a crucial area of resistance, I think, at 335. Now it's going to close well above that. And I think that, again, the momentum seems to be here.
Yeah, Marathon has done really well for me, and I don't really have any plans to sell it anytime soon. I'm going to continue to ride that train. Um, Clover broke over that 8, which was really important.
Yeah.
Sitting now currently at 818. That was my other big winner on the day. Drive Shack tried to get over the 3, but really happy where that's at. I'm okay that it hasn't had a massive move, but really excited about Clover because that actually started the day red, which
Yeah.
was a little bit discouraging.
Yeah. And I mean, man, it's interesting to see both of these. I mean, Clover's obviously in a bigger spotlight than Drive Shack is, and we feel like Drive Shack's eventually going to have its
Yeah.
day in the sun. But yeah, I mean, Clover's definitely had a great day, and I would imagine that even though we've been so bullish on this, and you could say that we're a little biased, but just the healthcare sector overall is going to continue to roll. And you put out a nice YouTube short on some reasons why you think it might continue to roll here. And there's just a lot more tailwinds for Clover, I think, than headwinds. And so this is why we like this. This is very encouraging to see it above $8 now.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Tesla in a minute, but that's my other big winner. But speaking of Marathon Oil, OIH, I'm also in BP. So speaking of these stocks, oil price predictions. It's kind of been a little bit of a volatile ride. There's been discussions on where oil can go.
Yeah.
It's just been a wild ride over the course of the past year on oil and what to expect from it. What is your price prediction on oil? And talk to me about how you plan on trading OIH or any other oil stocks that may make sense for you.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that we were talking about oil going negative almost a little over a year ago?
Yeah.
It's just wild. And now it's trading at 75.31 a barrel. And I think that there's definitely reason to believe that this goes to $100 a share by the end of the year. There's so much demand going on. I just saw article or news that just broke that UK is experiencing a oil shortage because they can't find drivers to keep up with demand. So that's crazy. There's a lot of people hoarding a bunch of gasoline over across the pond. I would imagine that we could see something to that effect here. That's only going to increase the price of oil and gas, and it's going to hurt at the pump. But for those of us who are invested in this, I think it's going to pay off leading into the end of the year.
Yeah. So obviously you mentioned OIH. And I had said BP, and there's certain reasons why I like BP, but you talked in level 3 this morning about other potential stocks. What stocks stand out for you, and what are you looking at in those stocks?
So one thing that I think a lot of people are overlooking, a lot of investors are overlooking, are stocks like Halliburton, which does have a lot of exposure to OIH. So if you aren't into the ETF scene, obviously I understand that. So then maybe just go after some of the ones that are going to do well in that ETF. Halliburton certainly looks to be one of those ones that could potentially do that. If we take a look at the chart here, it is actually above, and it's going to close above the 200-day moving average represented by this purple indicator here. It was already trading above the 50-day just a couple of days ago, and now has made a huge gap up, a huge move here. And I want to make sure that people understand this is still going to be pretty volatile. I mean, this whole area of commodities is volatile in general, so it's not going to just keep going straight up. However, if we start to creep towards this $25 resistance, which was the resistance for it in the past and has gotten rejected multiple times, if we fan back out here on Halliburton in general, you can see that it came up to 25 back in March, got rejected, got it back up to 25 back in June and got rejected, and then starting to make its way back there. I don't know if it actually will make it there or not, but if oil and natural gas continue to roll, there's reason to believe that some of these equities can do that. Now, I will say, Fat Man Zoom, that just because oil is doing this doesn't guarantee that equities are going to move, but they are lagging the price of oil, the price of natural gas considerably. And so it doesn't guarantee you that the equities are going to roll with the price of oil, but there's a pretty good chance that it could. The next one that I think is really important to watch, and you can kind of interchange these. Is Chevron and Exxon. I'm going to go with Exxon. Super high yield here. Has also been making a really nice move and has broke through the 56 resistance. So we take a look at that chart. The resistance here at 56 was pretty tough. Really since the end of August, it had made several attempts to break through that 56 resistance and is now just blasted right through that. So the momentum is definitely there. You could argue that RSI is quite hot. This is could potentially be approaching levels of overbought, but it's been beaten down so bad, especially over the summertime. I think there's potential for this to go up higher. Again, leading towards the end of the year.
Yeah. So Exxon has the best dividend yield out of the ones you mentioned, has a 6% dividend yield.
Yeah.
And Chevron's close. It has a little bit of 5.25, a little bit higher than that. What I will say is, man, I'm going to get you onto the BP train.
Okay.
They have a 5% yield. Looking at their fundamentals, they look like they're in a really good position. They only have a PE of like 11. Not to mention, we've talked about how they're trying to be sort of the first mover as far as clean energy is concerned, renewables are concerned, which I think there's huge opportunities for these companies who have cash to start at least getting into that space. But they're essentially going all in on it. So I'm telling you, man, feel really good about BP. I have Marathon Oil and BP, and I do want to sort of trim back to just one of them.
Yeah.
But I just can't part ways yet with BP. Feel really good about that. But a 5% yield is really, really strong.
Yeah.
And if we think it could still move up, that's just icing on the cake. So remains to be seen. Guys, you let us know, what is your favorite oil stock? How you feel about oil? Which one are you in? Our dividend bot also has oil stocks in it, the ones we've mentioned. So these are all things that we're very bullish on and can continue to move. Another thing impacting the market is interest rates.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a bunch on this channel, but what I did want to bring to the channel is for people who are worried about interest rates and where they could go, what are some stocks that you may want to look at to hedge yourself against the rising interest rates? So I asked you to bring 3 stocks to buy on rising interest rates. Before you get into the 3, just talk about your sentiment towards interest rates. And also, you mentioned this in level 3, what type of stocks it impacts and why you're going with the stocks you're going with.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of, concern. And I think that's why we saw the NASDAQ kind of really drop off. We saw the 10-year yield go up to about 1.5%. It's a level we haven't seen for a while. And I think some investors were getting a little nervous on some of the high-flying tech stocks, high-growth tech stocks, and especially the ones that aren't experiencing any kind of positive flow as far as operations are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you start to think about things like Zoom, for example, is a high multiple, high growth stock that relies on lending to continue their operations. And, you can make the argument that maybe Zoom is on their way out from doing that, but it's still very early on in that game. You could look at, Palantir as another example of that, something that has a high multiple. Asana, which we love, again, another one has a high multiple and really could be impacted as far from a lending standpoint. If interest rates go higher, the theory is that, they're going to have to spend more money on paying back those loans and their debt, and that's going to impact bottom line, thus impacting earnings. And we all know how investors react to earnings. So that's why we look at some of those high growth, high multiple stocks that may be impacted because of the growing rise in rates. So then what benefits from stuff like that? You have to look at things like value in general are going to continue to roll and do well. For me in particular, we talked about this last night in Stock Watch Sunday, but we didn't really speak to this reasoning. And that is Goldman Sachs, really just all of the banks. You could look at the XLF if you want the ETF. But I think Goldman Sachs, best in class. This was on the watch list this morning and is already doing really well. It just popped up over the 50-day moving average. I think this actually goes higher. What's incredible to me is that Goldman Sachs is up over 50% on the year and still is at a pretty low multiple. There's a lot of room for this to run still. And if interest rates continue to go higher, Goldman Sachs, the banks in general, will continue to benefit. You can make the argument, too, that if you don't want something that's $400 a share, I certainly understand that. You can look at something like Bank of America, which is approaching a pretty strong resistance here. It breaks up over this 43.50 area, which it's pretty darn close to. This thing could really start to get rocking. The difference between something like a Goldman Sachs and a Bank of America or even a Wells Fargo is that Goldman Sachs is investment-based banking, whereas like a Bank of America is more of a regional bank, has exposure to the mortgage side of things, which, may benefit or be kind of a drawback depending on how you look at it. So these are going to be two to take a look at for sure. Another area that you may want to take a look at as far as value is concerned is Verizon. Pretty good yield. What do we say?
Great yield.
5%?
Yeah.
5% yield on this as far as dividends are concerned. It's not going to go all over the place. Now, I will say that it is downtrending. We talked about this a little bit in the past, but it looks as if it may be starting to make a turn. But the reason you get into something like Verizon isn't for crazy growth. You want to get into it because of the dividend yield, and it could be a place to park your money, quote unquote, if interest rates continue to rise. One other thing that's interesting, and Apple took a little bit of a hit this morning because of the rates going up, and it was impacted back in March when rates went up. But the thing about Apple is that I would consider this a value stock that's also a growth stock. It's a little bit of a hybrid because it's been around forever. It's 40 years and it's still growing. But because it's been around for 40 years, I would consider this a value stock as well. They have a dividend. Still, I think that we've always talked about Apple being a place to just park your money. You just keep buying it and owning it, and you're going to be fine. And so those are some areas that I would probably consider, flocking to if we think that interest rates are going to continue to rise, which I do think that that's going to happen.
Yeah. So Zine Khan, is rising yields a concern for tech and growth stock as we saw in the beginning of this year, or is this just temporary noise? And you kind of alluded to it, but I wanted to shout out this specific question.
Yeah.
As we saw this pop, is this temporary to you?
I don't think it's temporary, but I don't think that we're going to see the type of reaction that we saw back in February, March, because it went up so high, so fast, that it kind of like shell shocked everybody. And they're like, what the hell? Why is this happening? And people really started to have those inflation fears. That's kind of what really sparked it all. I don't think it's going to be the same type of velocity in which we see the 10-year yield move that we saw earlier. I think it's going to be a gradual move up, and the stock market can absorb that much easier than they did back in March.
Yeah. So guys, if you are interested, just to stay up to date, these are one of the many topics we talk about on our live stream. We're live every Monday through Thursday to react to what's going on in the market. Interest yields, certainly one of the top conversations. 3:30 p.m. Eastern time every Monday through Thursday. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to learn when we go live.
I'm fucking crushing it. Just saying. I'm on a roll, people. Hit that like button.
Simon Moore asks, when's Chamath speaking? So those of you who saw the title, one of the topics we're going to get into is we're going to react to Chamath's interview. So Chamath has an interview at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time on CNBC. We'll live stream and we'll give our reaction to it. And one of the things we want to talk about is what are we going to expect from this conversation? Now, there's been no indication on what specifically he will be talking about. However, we have some hunches. Obviously, we're going to be talking about IPOF, but there's other SPACs out there. There's other topics out there that could be brought up today. And it's been a minute since Chamath has spoken. So we will be live for that. You guys don't want to miss it. Make sure you hang around. 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So in about 45 minutes, he'll be interviewing, and it's no more than a half an hour. So they'll be done by 4:55 p.m. Eastern time. Definitely stay tuned for that. We're excited about it. Should be really good. So as we go into close, into the market close, man, I've been waiting to do this video, discuss this topic, and I wanted to do it all last week, but you know what? What better time than now? Tesla will not stop moving, and it's not even like a crazy move. It's just been since May. It's been on a nice run up. It has been beautiful. This is my largest holding. It's by far my largest position. It isn't even close. I have high conviction in Tesla, but I wanted you to break down the technicals to get your perspective on Tesla. It's been one that's been a frequent flyer on the watch list. Fat Man Zoom special today. Tried to break above that 800. I'm feeling really good about it, but I need an unbiased opinion on what you think about Tesla technically and where it can go.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart right now. We've coined a new pattern. It's the gravy boat pattern. and Tesla has hit the gravy boat pattern. You guys know about the cup and handle, and this is not quite an organized cup and handle, but it kind of resembles that of a gravy boat. Look, we talked about for months now this $780 resistance, Fat Man Zoom, and that was going to be potentially a trouble spot, and it just blew through it like it did not give two shits about 780. And sometimes we see this out of Tesla. It just surprises, and then it comes back and actually retests, those levels of resistance. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I was supposed to come and hang here for a while. So I think there's definitely potential for it to come back to that 780 area and maybe live there, see some consolidation a little bit before the next move higher. But there's definitely some risks here, not just from a technical standpoint, but from the standpoint of meeting demand and the supply chain issues that Tesla's been experiencing. We heard from Tesla as far as that's concerned on their last earnings report. They haven't had earnings since July 27th, and so we won't hear from them again for about another month. So there's definitely some risk factors here, especially with as high as this has gone up. I remain bullish on Tesla longer term. In the short term, I think that there could be some rockiness coming for this. If it continues to roll here, though, I mean, there's nothing that I would say that's stopping it going above 800 before we see a correction.
Yeah, we've had some analysts that have talked about bullishness, particularly coming out of China, certainly Europe, Model Y. That's been a quick shift from Model 3 to Model Y as far as Tesla's focus. And Elon, I believe, mentioned a couple months back that he thought Model Y would be the best-selling vehicle in the world. Wasn't that the Model Y he talked about?
Yes.
And so it was hard to see, but there have been some rumors, speculation coming out that the ramp up out of China, the Shanghai factory for Model Ys in particular, has been obscene. So revisions as far as the full year production outlook, I'm really encouraged by where we're at. I actually think going into the end of October earnings, I think this is actually promising that it could run up into it. If it continues to run up, maybe a little bit of cause for concern to hold on through earnings, but from a long term, still feel really good. We're going to see, as we get closer to the end of the year, these revisions for production numbers.
Yeah.
800K, I think, is sort of that line where 850K, where they've got to get over. 1 million seems pretty far-fetched, but if we talked about that at the beginning of the year, it started out, I want to say, 750K. So there have already been upward revisions. If that number keeps coming up, if it gets above that 850, I think Tesla's going to be in really good shape to hit that $1,000 per share price target. And I think that's what it's worth, because what you can't forget is we're talking about 50% year over year growth in production, not including solar, not including semis, not including Cybertruck, none of that. So you add that into the mix. Yeah. What does that mean for Tesla in the future? If you have a longer time horizon, this puppy is going to print money for you.
Yeah, I mean, and Kathy Wood is still standing by her $3,000 price target, which I think could certainly be in the mix here. Is there any cause for concern as far as how much this has actually gone up? Because I mean, I'm looking at RSI right now, and I know that RSI is just an indicator, but it's been screaming for a while. I would imagine that we would see some sort of correction before the next pop in the short term. And we can make the argument that maybe this runs in the earnings, but I think there's an argument that you can make for a potential correction before the next move up, which is kind of what I'm thinking that might happen.
Well, I think what you have to do is, I think it's important to compare things similarly.
Yeah.
So you've brought up stocks that have lagged.
Yeah.
So Tesla's only up 14% on the year. So to me,
after an 800% year last year, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, their numbers were also insane. So I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. What are they off their highs? Like, that's where I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, Tesla not only is off its highs, on top of that, it's last year was, and this may sound like confirmation bias, but like last year, it was hard to produce.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Zoom. This isn't Zoom where the lockdown like helps the company. there was challenges like the Fremont factory. Elon had a lot of challenges as far as because he was trying to rush them back open, stuff around that. The current climate hurts Tesla. So as we reopen, I think that bodes well for them. Yeah, I mean, the argument is fair as far as like overvaluation and whatnot. But if you look at the growth story of Tesla, I think the argument is definitely there. And you talk about EVs, how they are, like so far ahead. I mean, we were having this conversation at 600.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And my conviction stayed the same in that it could go down to 600. Absolutely. But like, I don't want to wait, like there was concern at 600. Well, we're at 800 now. I've built up a nice little cushion as far as a green's concerned. So if it pulls back, I fully expect a little bit of a pullback. We get that. And looking at your channel, it could very well do that. But I just feel like this year feels different. Last year, there was all this like craziness surrounding the split S&P entry. It seems like things are a little bit more calm now. And the confidence in Tesla for me is really high from a conviction perspective. And they do it better than anybody else does in an EV space.
Yep. I mean, definitely some compelling arguments. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments below as well on your thoughts on this. Is there potential correction here? What are you guys thinking about Tesla? Are you not in? Are you waiting for the opportunity to get in? Have you been in for a while? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. And more importantly, we got about 93 of you guys hanging in here. So hit that thumbs up button if you guys are enjoying the show so far. We certainly would appreciate it. And we are awaiting the interview with Chamath Palihapitiya.
There you go.
At 4:30 on CNBC, just to kind of give our live reactions. We're really excited about what's going on there because it's been a while. It's been a minute since we've heard from Chamath, and really since we've heard about targets from IPOF, IPOE, some of the other stuff that they have going on. I mean, we talked about Chamath wanting to have SPACs for every letter of the alphabet. We're just getting through F, and it's been well over a year now. So since he's started this venture. So we'll see what he has to say. Last time, I vividly remember, I mean, I don't think, maybe it wasn't the last time he talked to Scott Wapner, but the last time I remember him talking to Scott Wapner was when he like tore him a new asshole when the whole GameStop, stuff happened, like back in January.
Yeah.
Scott Wapner was like basically kind of ripping on Chamath for going in on calls on GameStop and being a part of the Wall Street Bets movement, almost kind of calling him irresponsible. And then Chamath just came back at him and just like tore him a new asshole. And like, the media, basically painting this picture of like, why can't I do this type of deal? And don't tell me what I can or can't invest in. And kind of created this rebellion, as we now know as the Wall Street Bets. And obviously AMC has been the highlight here, but that was kind of the last time I really remember it. Scott Wapner and Chamath kind of going at it. So it'll be interesting to see what today's interview is going to be all about. Because, Scott Wapner has that nickname of the judge for a reason. He asks the hard questions. And he doesn't really back down. So and neither does Chamath. So I think it should be a pretty good interview all around.
Yeah. I do agree. Sorry, give me 1 second because I want to get this trade in.
There you go, guys. Live trading at its finest. I should be checking mine too.
So I'll tell you what I'm doing. All right. So here's the deal, people. All right. So market's about to close. I think we could spend the majority of the time kind of framing it around Chamath, IPOF, speculation, other stocks as well. What did I just get? I doubled down on IPOF.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I doubled down on IPOF. This is going to be short term. This is just off the news. So my initial position, I will keep, and I'm right around that 1030 average or whatever, 1050 average. So that should bring it down. But let me actually give you my specific average. But anyways, I'm playing for an announcement. If it doesn't happen, I think worst case scenario is IPOF goes to that $10. So my downside risk is 2%, 2.5%. I'm okay with that. If we don't get the news, I am selling half of my position. I'm not gonna be greedy. If we don't get the news, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll put a stop in, and that's that. However, we've been hearing a lot about IPOF. So to set the stage, IPOD and IPOF are two open SPACs that Chamath has. They launched back in October of 2020. And for those of you who don't know SPACs, they have about 18 to 24 months that they have to find a partner. So they still have significant time. However, historically, they don't typically take the 18 to 24 months. You usually see them 3 to 4 months in the short range, but usually within that first year. So we're coming on the year mark for IPOF. This could very well be IPOD, but there's been zero rumors surrounding that. We've really liked IPOF because of the leadership. They've partnered with that. They've said that it's going to be a tech company, and it's the largest investment out of all of the current SPACs to this date, for Chamath. So all those things are going really, really well in their favor. So my hope is that he comes on and he talks about that. Discord has been the one, and we've talked about this, bro. If it's I think any announcement should do well or okay. I worry that if it's not Discord, there might be a brief negative reaction.
Yeah.
But if it's confirmed that it's Discord, I don't even know where this can go, but I just feel like it could go off.
If it's Discord, there will be not only the Wall Street Bets crowd in it, but I think just like it would surprise me if not everybody was trying to pile into this thing.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be all over Reddit. It's going to be all over social media. Discord's become a really good platform, not just for gamers, but for people like you and me, for investors, to be able to connect with other people who are investors. I mean, obviously, yeah, sure, Reddit's been that too, but there's all of these sub communities within our space that have a Discord, and that's just a small part of it. But from the investing side of things, it'll spread like wildfire. I mean, people are going to be super excited if it's something like Discord, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And thinking about the communities that are built, the question is going to really be monetization, what kind of numbers they currently have, revenue they currently have, and then from there, what the future outlook looks like. However, that doesn't really matter until they actually merge. We've seen this. There's the announcement, then you have to vote for the merger to go through.
Right.
So there's like almost two pops that could potentially happen. And then you have the earnings, which tell another story. And then you could see really a lot of volatility in that. But there's really nothing that guarantees that he's going to announce anything. He could just talk business. He could talk general topics. I know some of you might be interested in hearing him talk about Clover. I don't see him really talking about any of his previous SPACs, only because I think what he's probably learned is once they merge, I think he tries to step away and allow their leadership to do their thing. I don't think that he wants to be associated. I don't think he wants to steal the limelight from the CEOs of the companies as they merge.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of those things where, while I would love for him to talk about Clover and put a positive spin on things, I think he's just kind of staying away from it altogether. And I think that's actually the right thing for him to do. He just needs to focus on SPAC partnerships, promoting SPAC partnerships, and really being a good advocate for those.
Yeah, I agree. The SPACs have kind of really been taking a huge hit overall. And something like this could get people excited about them again. And obviously, and we've seen some really good success from almost all of Chamath's mergers. I mean, you look at something like SoFi that's recently started to make some really good moves. Some laggards is Open Door, I think, is probably one that comes to mind, but obviously Clover has been a bit of a struggle, but he's had some good ones, and Discord will be massive. I think it would just be a huge win for him, a huge win for the SPAC space. So I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So guys, we'll be watching soon. We'll give you the reaction. We'll watch the charts, see if anything happens on any of the Chamath stocks charts. So make sure you guys stay tuned. While we wait, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Give us a like if you're enjoying the content. Let me go check the chat. Daniel Camarena, what's up, man? FedEx is trying to implement a new system that isn't going great at all. Could be why the company's earnings weren't great. A lot of packages due to the new system, which means FedEx paying customers back. Oh, a lot of late packages, sorry. every station here in SoCal is having a lot of lates with the testing of this new system.
Yeah, we've heard some stuff about that in their latest earnings call about them struggling with a little bit of that. I actually ended up taking some FedEx calls today, and it because of the overreaction. So, yeah, I'm with you, Daniel. I think though that, in my opinion, I think we could see a pretty decent comeback from FedEx as far as the bounce back is concerned. When we look at the overreaction after earnings, it's done nothing but really kind of sell off. I took a small position on calls, nothing too crazy, just 10 calls for November. And so I think that this is going to be something that could end up benefiting, especially getting into the holiday season, that sort of thing. They'll work themselves out. The kinks that they have right now. I mean, FedEx has always done that. So I have a lot of confidence in them.
Yeah, these are the type of situations we look for. Is a stock that's going to be around for a long time. Could have a hiccup. Could have some unwarranted news. This is certainly cause for concern from the short term. However, as you said, they'll be fine. And this could end up presenting a great buying opportunity for some.
Yeah.
So we'll see. As long as you're patient. Down front said, I bought FedEx today, so it better hit all-time highs tomorrow. Yeah, that'd be great for everybody.
I did go way out of the money on this one, but I didn't risk a whole lot. So they were pretty cheap, but I went 255 strike price, and it's trading at 225. So by November, my hope is that it'll get closer to that 250.
Getting the money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it for sure. Side note. Man, my family's been on me.
About what?
Since before the live stream today.
About what?
Yesterday's live stream.
Are you making fun of me?
No. It's very small.
Oh.
But as I was recapping the Ravens story, I said I made mention of my girlfriend.
Oh.
So out of everything I said, that's the one thing my family keyed on. And just the text chat is just going wild. I didn't know it was such a big deal.
What? Just the fact that you have one?
Yeah. Yep. I like to keep things close to the vest.
I know you do.
But since it's out in the open,
Fat Man Zoom.
I got a girlfriend.
Fat Man Zoom is no longer available.
I'm taking people. Sorry.
It's off the market.
Sorry. I'm not sorry. I didn't know it was such a big deal, but I get it. I understand. A lucky old lady out there. Good for her.
I think it's the other way around for Fat Man Zoom.
Yeah. Well, you knew it. I don't know. They're full. You know, family, man.
I do.
It's just ridiculous, but it's actually pretty funny. I have to say.
I thought for sure maybe it was something to do with my third eye.
No, nothing. They didn't say anything about that. They didn't say anything about the Ravens. They didn't say anything about the stocks going off. Nothing. That's a very basic joke, but good job, Don. Yeah. He's made that joke multiple times. Yeah. It's like his one go-to joke.
Listen, he's a dad. He's a dad of three.
Yeah.
Coming in hot with the dad jokes.
Yep, for sure. All right, man. We got 12 minutes to figure something out.
we ran through our shit. I said I was on fire today, and maybe a little bit too on fire. Just ran right through all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'll give a rundown of the overall market though. Right now, the S&P closed the day. Let's see, around, it looks like everything was kind of mixed. The S&P closed down 0.25%, down 12 points, no big deal. The Dow closed up 71 points, again, really no big deal. And NASDAQ was kind of the biggest loser of the day, down 0.5%. The big winner though was the Russell 2000 went off. It was up 1.45%, so really pretty decent move out of the Russell 2000. And obviously the big winner too was crude. With a 2% move. It's now up at $75.50 per barrel. Just wild stuff out of that. The 10-year Treasury note closed up 1.6%, so 1.48. So really didn't shock anybody. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the day, we saw some pretty decent moves up above 1.5. It settled itself out, and I think that's why the market just kind of was a little bit even for the most part of the day.
I did mention Clover, which is one of my highly speculative stocks. The other highly speculative stock that moved today, surprisingly, was Lots. I don't know if you saw Lots, but Lots actually,
Car lots?
yeah, Car Lots, and a nice little move. It's trying to get some life back into it.
A little bit, yeah. So this was one that we it was a failed group play, one of the few.
I think it was the only failed group play.
It was the only failed group play in the last year. But yeah, maybe it's starting to make the turn here. You can see that it bottomed out, in the high $3 range. Starting to make a move. It's up over the 50-day. Maybe it's got some momentum behind it. We'll see.
Yeah, I've definitely been keeping my side eye on it for sure. Claudia asked about AMD. Yeah, AMD was green. I think Nvidia was actually.
All the semiconductors moved today.
Oh, they did. They were actually no. Nope.
AMD had a good day.
Nvidia did not.
AMD had a up 2.25% today.
Yeah, I don't know if all the semiconductors did, but surely.
ASML. ASML's been a sneaky player that we've had on the watch list for our KS group members, which, by the way, if you guys want to be a part of that, hit the join button next to subscribe. We'd love to have you guys as part of the KS crew. We put out a watch list every single day of the week before the market opens. We also give you access to our Discord group and all kinds of other goodies. You get trade alerts from whenever I make a trade. Also, a snapshot of the portfolio, which, by the way, it's kicking ass and taking names. So if you guys want to check that out, hit the join button next to subscribe. We'd love to have you guys as part of the crew. Help support the channel, all that good stuff.
Yeah, record highs, right?
Yeah. The portfolio hit record highs today. It's been outperforming the market over the last year. 64% is what it's up over the last year. So pretty solid. Pretty solid, if I do say so myself.
Congrats on that. And Boogaloo Brown, what's up, man? Only joined the crew to hear the Stone Cold Hell Yeah. Changed my whole life. Thanks, dude. You're welcome, man.
We got to figure out how to bring that back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like our trademark too.
Yeah.
What do you think of Fisker? It moved 30% in 7 days on no news.
I don't know what to think about that. Fisker was something that I still like Fisker. But yeah, man, I don't know about this. It's just touched and got rejected at the 200-day moving average. If you missed the boat on Fisker, you probably missed the boat. I wouldn't go chasing after this. We'll wait for some sort of pullback to come back, and don't chase boner candles is essentially what we always try to say. And there's been a lot of them on Fisker right now. I like the company. I think they have a lot of promise. I just don't know if I'd chase it all the way up here just yet.
Yeah.
We got no product still.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to check in to see how my account did. Zoom slightly went green. Zoom's just a mess.
Zoom is a bit of a mess, even though we still love it. It's a mess.
Yeah, I got to make some hard decisions about Zoom.
Omar says, "What happened to Chamath? Thought he was going to take the whole alphabet public via SPACs. He was, and I think he still is. It's just going to take some time for all that to work itself out. Remember, you have 2 years to fulfill a SPAC after you take it public. So we're only, I think, we're less than a year into IPOF and IPOE, if I'm not mistaken. I think they went public in March.
IPOE is SoFi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, IPOD. I think they all went public in March, right? DE and
October.
Okay. So
October last year. So yeah, we're about 11 months.
Okay.
And
so we still got time.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to more than likely get filled up before he moves on, but it'll take some time, I think.
His goal was to launch the entire alphabet, and I believe he was going to launch it by the end of this year. I think that's what he initially stated his goal was. I think what you have to understand, though, is the climate change. So obviously you have goals that you want to do things, but goals are revisable. Little lesson. Like you shouldn't, obviously you have expectations, but the SPAC market drastically changed. I think what's happening now is not only has there been some regulatory concern around SPACs and a little bit of uneasiness. I think a lot of it has to do not with whether Chamath wants to launch SPACs. I think it's just general concern about it. So if you're a company wanting to go the route of SPAC, maybe you're a little bit more hesitant. If you are an investor that would have historically invested in SPACs, I think there's a lot less money flowing that way just because there is a lot of uncertainty around it.
Yep.
And I think that's why Chamath has been quiet. I also think that's why they've been a little bit slower on IPOD, IPOF, either because they can't find that partner because they already have the investment capital, or they're just waiting for the general market sentiment to be in a better place. It's not great to be a SPAC right now.
Right.
If this was a year ago and they announced a merger, it would have gone off. It wouldn't even have been at $10. It would have been at $15, $20, and without a merger partner. And so they're just in really tough spots, but they still seem to present great opportunities as long as none of the regulatory oversight doesn't change.
So that's interesting to bring that up. I think that there was so much hype around SPACs in general. You had celebrities getting involved in SPACs that really didn't have any business getting involved in SPACs. There's no business model tied to a lot of these, and that's kind of been the big stigma. I don't think that the SPACs that Chamath has been bringing to the table applies, but he's been brought into that stigma regardless because it's just a SPAC. I mean, we saw the debacle with Nikola, right? And that's still more than likely going to go to shit. And so that I think is going to take a little bit of time to pass, but I do think that this is going to be the way that, younger investors can get involved in the IPOs and that sort of thing. It reminds me a lot of, the .com bubble. I wasn't trading then, but I, am a student of history. And I really was dove into what happened at that time. And there was just so many companies that would IPO that didn't have any business IPOing as it related to tech and, businesses that just created a website, called themselves a business, and wanted to go public with it. And that's kind of what it felt like with SPACs. And so we had this huge bubble. The bubble burst as far as SPACs are concerned. And now I think that enough time's passed to maybe start to bring those back to light.
Yeah, I would agree. And hopefully something like this would do that. We also haven't had any major names that I recall recently.
Yeah, that's true.
So it remains to be seen how that works. But I do agree the saturation was pretty ridiculous and SPACs were just out of control.
Yeah.
However, the track record can't be denied about Chamath and Clover.
Correct.
We can't forget that around the same time that SPACs are getting heat, Clover, the Hindenburg article comes out on Clover at almost the exact same time.
Yep.
So it wasn't a great look. And for those of you who don't know, Hindenburg basically came out with an article where they tried to paint Clover, the company, the leadership in Chamath, as trying to mislead shareholders because of a DOJ investigation. I don't even think at the time it was an investigation. It was like an inquiry. And they made it look like Chamath and the CEO were just basically trying to cover it up. And they said that they should have given that information pre-SPAC.
Yeah.
You can look at it and you could probably say that's a fair point. Their point was it wasn't anything. There was nothing official. We didn't believe there was, they gave a really good recall to like 15 points that Hindenburg had like put up. And they rebutted everything. And I thought it was fair and reasonable. And they basically said, why are we going to bring up this negative news if we don't think there's anything that can come of it? Right. I think that's fair as well. Like the DOJ's job is to announce who they investigate. And apparently there's a lot of these inquiries that happen that never turn into investigations. So why are you going to bring that up, hammer your stock every time one of those comes to light?
Yeah. I mean, and it's an attack from short sellers. And that's really all it is. It's unfortunate that these types of things happen, but they do happen. And I think that when you look at stuff like Clover, that has just been seriously manipulated. And I don't like to always put my tinfoil hat on, but it's really hard to not do that with this particular stock because it hasn't really done anything to deserve to be beaten down all the way at this level. The PE is crazy. crazy low. It's way undervalued. It's only going to be a matter of time before it finally ends up popping off. You just have to ask yourself if you're the one that's going to be patient enough to hold it. We know that Fat Man Zoom is. A lot of other people in the crew are as well. And so it'll have its day in the sun. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah, and I don't think they've announced yet. I think November would be when they announce their next earnings. But their earnings have looked good. I don't want to say they were great, but they have looked good. And if you look at everything, look at IPOA to IPOF.
Yeah.
And this is the lowest price stock. All the other ones, IPOD, IPOF, haven't found a partner. They're still worth more than this company, which is insane to think.
That's wild.
And then A, B, C, E, all are worth far more than their initial $10 SPAC value. I mean, it's not even close.
Right.
So I think that it's only a matter of time before Clover Health, IPOC, comes back. So we'll see. We got 10 minutes till he comes on. Come on, man. If you know what this means, like if he actually announces IPOF, you know what this would mean? This would be crazy.
It would be crazy.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's
not going to happen.
It's not like him to just announce something like that on the Scott Wapner of all people. Omar, appreciate the donation, bro. $5 says, did you say you're up 60% year to date? So no, let me rephrase. 60% over the last year. So over the last 365 days, I'm up 60%, 59.27%, still crushing the market. I am green on the year, but I'm underperforming the market. So if I go and look at year to date, year to date, not quite yet beating the market over the last 6 months. I'm up 7.35% on the year since January 1st, but up 60% over the last year, over the last 365 days. So rolling 365. Coming up on the S&P though, I'm about ready to cross over it. So we'll see. We got time left in the year. It'd be awesome if we came in at the last minute and beat them. But again, if you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, it's the portfolio that we share with our Chaos crew. So I publicly share my trades within that group. If you guys want access to that, hit the join button next to subscribe. We'd love to have you guys as part of the crew.
Oh, this is a good question. Craig LeBlanc asks, if Chamath doesn't announce on Wednesday, how far do you think IPOF falls? 990, 980? So I'll give my perspective first. I don't know if it'll be like a huge fall. It could pull back a little bit, but I don't think the market's actually anticipating much. The only reason I say that is because it's not like IPOF has had some monster move. If IPOF had a monster move into today, sure, I'd be like, okay, there's going to be a pullback, but it hasn't really done any of that. So This is more us. And this interview isn't like something that's splattered everywhere. We just found it, honestly, accidentally on Twitter. It's not everywhere. And so I don't know who else is talking about it. I don't know any other channels that are reacting to it live. I'm pretty sure we're the only ones. So we'll see what happens. But to me, could it come down to 10? Yes. I think that's probably like talking about tomorrow or Wednesday. I think that's probably worst case scenario.
Yeah. I mean, looking at this, the 50-day moving average is at $10 flat. I don't think the reason this has moved has been because, Chamath's going to be talking on CNBC today. I think the reason this has moved is because some of the rumors are flying around what could be the target for IPOF. Yeah. They did make the announcement that IPOF has a target. They just haven't said who just yet. So could we be let down a little bit today? Perhaps. But anybody expecting Chamath to say something today, I think is kidding themselves.
Yeah. So the Discord is what had this initial move. The announcement or the rumors that it could be Discord.
Yeah.
The point of us bringing this today is, let's say there's a 10 to 20% chance he announces something, right? Like one of the outstanding SPACs.
Yeah.
Then that's worth the downside. I just don't see much downside here. So if I'm wrong, essentially, like I said, worst case, I think it's a 2% downside risk.
Right.
But if by some chance he does announce something, that's huge upside risk or upside potential. So that's why I like it, is because these are like one-off opportunities. And the thing is, he hasn't been speaking. So I'm kind of like playing this into my favor. Why talk now? right? It just seems like it's just kind of things are lining up. So we thought the rumors were we were going to hear something last week. We didn't. Is today the day?
Yeah. Necroy, I'm in the same boat as you. Says I held so much IPOF earlier this year, been out for a while. I took profits on IPOF a while back when we started seeing all the other SPACs pop off. I made a bunch of money on that. I did really well on it. But yeah, I've been out of anything Chamath related for a little bit here just because it's been so unpredictable. But I think that we're starting to get back into the swing of things, especially, and like I said, if this Discord rumor is true, like it's gonna be on. All of the Chamath stocks should respond, I would imagine.
Yeah, I agree. I think they would. And IPOD certainly would.
Yeah.
Just because, okay, that's the last one. And I think they're going to come in close. For those of you who don't remember, Chamath has released these stocks in groups of 3. So ABC, IPOA, IPOB, IPOC all came out together.
Yep.
They announced them actually pretty closely together. Then they announced the other 3, D, E, and F. E was announced, but we've been waiting a minute for D and F, but that just means one's left. And I expect once D and F hit, he's gonna announce G, H, and I. So we'll see what happens. But I think even D would move, or vice versa, just because that's the last one currently that's outstanding, and they're closer to that target. So that would build excitement as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Ivan Broski asked, am I taking profit on Tesla? Not at this time, man. I mean, I'm certainly, like I said before, I'm certainly not going to be surprised if there's a pullback. But this is also long-term for me. I'm trying to build myself to 100 shares of Tesla. So this is more of a dollar cost average situation. There could be a world where I sell out of it, but like, not right now. I'm not interested. Yeah. So even if it came back down to 650, it is what it is. I'm not making any decisions until it's above $900.
Would you say that Tesla is part of your retirement plan?
I believe it will be. Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it's in my retirement account. It's in that Solar 401k I talked to you guys about. Now I do more active trading in that. That's not my Fat Man Zoom account. But yeah, I mean, this is one that I'm betting big on.
Yeah.
So, a 10-20% move isn't enough for me to, really for it to be material. So I'm going to dollar cost average the dips and get to my goal of 100 shares. And I think I'm just going I would love to get to 100 shares by the end of next year and just sit it in there and just forget it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Surprised Tesla's held up with interest rates rising. Hey, I'll be honest, I am too. And that's kind of why I've shown promise. Even last week, it was not really having such a volatile reaction comparative to the market. That's why I've been really bullish on it. But yeah, I would agree. I'm surprised it hasn't as well.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a cash cow either. I mean, it's profitable. And I think the excitement is the growth, and then the margins are increasing. But if you just look at the cash on hand, it's not blowing anybody away. And it could give you a little bit of concern. And we've talked about Tesla has to bat 1,000. Like, they have to knock everything right. So any hiccup, any issue is going to be a short-term hit on Tesla.
They're under such a huge microscope that, to your point, they just have to get everything right all of the time. Otherwise, they're going to get hammered in as far as the stock's concerned.
Malcolm Barker, where do we realistically see Penn by Super Bowl? So beginning of next year. I mean, you've talked about your price target. I mean, this thing I imagine is going to move really, really quickly. So I know it might be frustrating for those who are in it. I'm in it substantially. You're in it substantially.
Yeah.
I'm cool for the waiting game, the patient game. Not only Super Bowl, but you think about March Madness, and you think about all the other states opening up. I mean, I think the most conservative is $100. I think that's conservative.
Oh my God. I think by the Super Bowl, I think 120 is probably what I'm going for. And I feel like I'm being conservative.
I think 100 100 is easy. I think 120 is realistic. I think 150 is the bull case.
Yeah.
I think that's, and it could go more if they start dominating markets. But I think 150, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be like, it wouldn't blow my mind away. But like, again, they have to do a lot of things right. And they got to turn some things around. But I would say after March Madness, if it's not there, I would then be a little bit concerned.
Yeah. I mean, they just got so much going on, so many tailwinds for them, not just from the sports betting side, but from everything, from it being a reopening epicenter type stock as far as the regional casinos are concerned. You mentioned last night about the media side of things and with Barstool and all that. I mean, there's just so many good things and so many reasons to like Penn here, even though it's moved from 60 to 77.48 where it closed out today. So many good things coming for them that I just have no desire to sell this no matter where it's sitting.
All right. We got about a minute till Chamath comes on. I got my Clover Green hat on, hoping for some luck, some IPOF. And we'll get you guys, we'll share when it actually starts. It comes up. We'll look at the chart, see if there's any sort of reaction or anything that happens. But again, guys, I just want to temper expectations. He could not mention any of his stuff. He could just be talking stocks. No big deal. I'm just happy to see Chamath's face again. It's just nice to see him. The world is a better place when Chamath is out in the public eye.
Yes.
Real quick, Philip Stroh, Florida Marathon still look promising. Do they still look promising? We talked about this earlier. He feels like it is. Wants our opinion. Yeah, we did say we still feel confident about it. I'm in Marathon Oil. Brad's in OIH. Still feels confident about both. Brad's also heavy in Ford. So yes, we are confident in both of those. And Necroy, in Chamath, we trust. I couldn't agree with you more.
Looks like there's some breaking news here real quick. Inflation from bottleneck supply constraints from Jerome Powell, I guess, is making remarks. Interesting. Okay. I'm sure that'll be something we chat about tomorrow.
How many people we got in the house?
We got 144 of you guys hanging in here. We have 54 likes. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up and continuing to support the channel in that way, we certainly would appreciate it. Right now, we are waiting for the special between Chamath and Scott Wapner to take place on CNBC. As soon as that takes place, we'll bring you guys there. We'll be giving our live reaction. We can all just kind of watch it together. Yeah, we certainly appreciate the thumbs up, guys. If you're enjoying the show so far, looks like the likes are coming in. So certainly appreciate that from you guys.
What if I got the date and time wrong?
That would have sucked. I just actually double checked. I mean, it looks like it says 4:30 p.m. CNBCevents.com says 4:30 p.m. Eastern time.
When they have that breaking news, so
yeah,
that could back that up a little
I'm
bit.
sure that delays some things. So, Fed Chair Powell to testify Tuesday before Senate Banking Committee. Seems to be what's the breaking news on CNBC.
Do you want to test it out just to make sure it sounds good and everything that way?
Sure. Let's just do it. This is the first time I think we've ever really done this, guys. So let me go ahead and just share this with y'all, and I'll bring us up so everybody can.
And if we get kicked off, we're not coming back on.
Yeah.
Morgan, which is the one about the resignation.
I don't know. Can you guys hear that?
Coming the day before Powell has to sit before Congress. So I think that that's another potential possibility. The resignations, the retirements of Dallas Fed President Robert Kaplan and Eric Rosengren, both coming the day before Powell has to sit before Congress and potentially.
Okay, so we're good.
So we're good there.
Conflicts of interest.
Cool.
Is anything going on after hours for IPOF, please?
Let me see. My phone is interfering with our audio. That's weird. IPOF is up 0.5% after hours.
Oh, who doggy? Woo! Let's go.
Oh man.
Big day.
The old people are still talking about the Fed. On with it. Oh man, what's IPOD doing?
It's up 0.25%.
Oh.
Nothing big. I'm so happy that Clover closed above $8. That wheel strategy is working to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, I've had one of the biggest days I think I've had. I mean, really over the last 3 weeks, it's been insane. Insane. Brian Woods says this breaking news is bullshit. Chamath was probably late to the studio. You might be right. Although I don't think he's in New York. I think he's still in LA.
Nobody really cares.
I know
about this topic.
They really don't.
You guys are horrible.
Oh shit. All right. Let's get on with it. I mean, how many times do we need to be up Jerome Powell's ass? It's like every day. He says he whispers about anything. And it's like headline news.
Yeah. Who's that?
What the hell was that? Something just happened. No leaps yet for Fat Man Zoom? No, I don't think so, Don.
No, yeah, I do have leaps.
Oh, you do? He's got leaps.
Yeah, I have leaps. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I have Clover leaps. I have for January 2023. I have Penn. I believe to have Penn. Yep, and Penn.
I was just thinking.
I'm hoping for Apple soon.
Back to the girlfriend comment.
Yeah, she's great. I just want to tell you, my girlfriend.
She is great. She's pretty awesome. But don't you have your family phone call on Tuesday?
Yeah. So
that should be interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's already been a couple times. Yeah. Family Zoom.
It's gonna be.
I'm already prepared.
You're already gonna get ripped.
Listen, I'm there. I got nothing to hide.
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm happy. I'm proud.
You should be. You should be.
I mean,
but apparently you should have given them the play-by-play, according to them. Which they may or may not have wanted. Yeah,
exactly. That's how they find out information. Through Only Chaos.
YouTube.
You know what's going on? Tune into Only Chaos.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Fat Man Zoom fam. This is where all the breaking news happens, not just stock market stuff.
Do you think my 10 shares of IPOF I just bought is why it moved?
Yes, 100%. We're now in commercial break.
Her name is not Kathy Wood.
Fat Man Zoom going after the Cougars.
I mean, I would date Kathy Wood.
I would date Kathy Wood.
Just for the inside tips.
She's pretty attractive for being 60 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I would just date her for the inside tips.
Just the tips?
Just see how it feels.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Still waiting. Still got commercials. Peloton commercial, which, by the way, I've been on the Peloton.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on after this.
More. I've been on the Peloton more.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some October challenges launching. I don't know if you want to get in. Yeah, I'm doing like 4 of these.
I mean, I'm still pretty terrible at it. I was 21st, 21,000 out of 26,000 on Thursday.
That's all right. You started somewhere. All right. So here are my upcoming challenges. The fall launch challenge, take 1 class every day in October, but that can be anything.
Oh, okay.
And it could even be like meditation.
Yeah.
Take 1 class every day in October. October cycling challenge, ride 50 miles in October minimum.
Ooh. Okay. That's not bad.
It's 50 good. Miles. It's healthy, but it's not hard to do. October activity challenge, workout 10 plus days in October. That's not hard. And strength challenge, complete 5 plus strength workouts in October. Those are the ones I'm doing, which I think are all of them.
I'm interested in the meditation ones. I've never done meditation before, but I've always wanted to and never really actually did it.
Yeah, they're good, especially like at night if you're trying to relax.
Yeah.
There's ones that's like nighttime routine. You can do them first thing in the morning. They're quick. Could break up in the middle of the day if you're just to slow down.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10 minutes if you want. There's longer ones. Come on.
I know. Now we have the R. Kelly and sex trafficking trial with Shepard Smith.
Wait, look at the schedule again. What was before the 4:30?
Let's see. Looking at it. I don't know. It's whatever you sent me.
Okay. I'll pull up the link. Yeah, that was just a screenshot I posted.
The Alpha Maverick. Is this actually going to be on CNBC? Or is it like some sort of sideshow that's actually not on CNBC?
That's what I'm wondering. Hold on.
We're probably like 10 minutes late already.
I know. We're probably in the wrong spot. Okay, here it is. So
Delivering Alpha.
CNBC.com/delivering-alpha. Oh, man.
Delivery.
Damn it. Did we miss this?
We didn't do enough DD.
Yeah.
Nope. /delivering/alpha.
Some BS. Yeah. Wait, hold on. What is it? -alpha. Delivering-alpha.
Oh.
What a letdown, guys. We're sorry.
Making it happen. Oh, you have to register? I don't understand.
While we wait, I'm going to see if Twitter talks about Chamath on.
This says September 29th. But on here, CNBCevents.com. Oh, it doesn't give you the date. Is that the date?
Hold on.
Which year is the interview? Is a very good question, Jeff.
It's definitely 2021.
If it's not until the 29th,
we'll be back. I don't think it. Actually, I don't know why I said today. I sent it to you today. Oh my God. Guys, we appreciate you. This is the best. I'm almost there. Hold
on. Oh, shit.
We might, though, not even be able to get it on the. Yeah, it's the 29th. It feels a lot like Callaway Day.
It does. It does. Callaway we couldn't figure out when their earnings were. I even tagged Chamath on Twitter.
So that's Wednesday.
Wednesday we'll be back to give our live reaction to Chamath.
I'm not sure because it looks like we have to pay.
At this point, I'll pay it.
Maybe. We'll talk about it. We're not making any commitments yet.
I mean, if it's something stupid, no, I'm not paying it. But if it's like $100, I'm paying it.
It's not $100.
Is it a lot more than that?
It is.
Fuck.
Sorry, guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in.
God damn it.
It was only an extra 30 minutes you had to hang out with us.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. We at least had some good conversation.
Yeah. Wasn't bad. We stole some likes.
With that being said,
we're going to get some thumbs down.
We're going to get some thumbs down and some clickbait bullshit. It was not intentional. Anyways.
But be ready for Wednesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. What a shit show.
Rookie move. Bye.